Right. Oh, okay. All right. Hey, everyone. Chrissy here, Real World Witness. And I am here with two of my goddess sisters. Everybody, of course, you guys know Delphine, Mrs. Lady D. Hey, Lady D, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, soul sister. How are you?
I'm doing good. Excitement today because we get to talk to Tanya / Yvonne, and I'm gonna have her explain why we're calling her Yvonne. Okay, it's very, very interesting story. So Tanya, thank you for coming. We're so excited to talk to you today.
I'm so glad to be back with you, two beautiful beings, my soul sisters. Thank you for
Yes, I
having me
mean,
back
oh my gosh.
again.
It's been amazing. Listen, the Soul Tribe, I'm so grateful to have, and because I would not have met you guys otherwise.
Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely.
I can't imagine not having this online presence and being able to be connected with so many
Yeah.
amazing people. Yeah.
It's been quite the journey this year, I think, for all of us. I think we're all pretty much evolving and changing, and it's just been beautiful. I mean, when I look at like where I was last year to now, it's like night and day, honestly. I mean, it's crazy. I love it. So today we're going to talk a little bit about our angels, because there's a lot of angels. I think there's more angels on earth now than ever before because the veil is down, I think completely down. And we're going to talk a little bit about what Tanya has done, and we'll get into that in a minute. First, I just wanted to explain. So have always been kind of fascinated by angels because they are, I think, from the divine, and they do show up in your life. I mean, I have so many examples that I could give you as far as my own life and it doesn't necessarily, it's not like an ethereal, for me, it's not like, it hasn't been like an ethereal person that's like in the room or whatever, but it's different angels that I think are manifesting into, human form. But when they help you, then they just suddenly disappear and you can't, they just are not there anymore. It's very, very interesting. But I just wanted to start out by going by the Webster, Merriam-Webster dictionary. What is an angel? Now, they talk about religion, and I don't think it is a religion. I really don't. The way they talk about it is they say it's a spiritual being serving as a divine messenger and intermediary, and often as a special protector of an individual or a nation. The other thing is that they talk about is that it's an attendant, usually benevolent spirit or guardian, often used without implication of belief in the supernatural character of it. And then the last one says, the part of the person's character or nature that is said to guide the person's thought and behavior. Now, I find that very interesting because as we've been evolving into the higher frequency and the higher consciousness, I think that kind of refers to our higher self. So I want to start with Delphine. What are your thoughts on what is an angel to you? How do you describe it?
All right. It's not going to be a popular one, but I'm going to say it. I think angels are extraterrestrial beings from another dimension.
Ooh, interesting. Okay.
I don't think religion has anything to do about it. And I'm going to say it, and I'm going to say it bold. I am anti-religion because religion divides. I believe in God and Yeshua. I don't believe in religion. Religion's bullshit. And if you don't like it, I don't care. Religion is bullshit.
Exactly.
I'm speaking my truth. Religion's bullshit, okay?
Comes out of the gate like a bull, everybody. That's our Delphine, though. That's why we love her.
I just look at it. Just like, that's right, Yvonne. I missed you so much, my gypsy mama. First of all, I didn't get to say how much I miss my gypsy mama. Anyway.
I know. I wish we lived closer together.
I know. We need to get together. Yeah, and we live in different countries, but it doesn't matter. We're all together by heart.
Yes, by mind, body, and soul, man.
Right.
I say body and soul more than mind, but
so getting back to angels, I think they are spiritual. I think that there are many beings that are categorized by angels. I think that they could be extraterrestrial galactic beings from Sirius or Lyra or Pleiades. I just don't think I just think that they're from other dimensions.
mm-hmm.
I don't think they're from quote unquote heaven. I don't even know if there is a heaven. There are dimensions, but yeah. So I think that they're beings. I think Yeshua was from another. I think Yeshua was from the Pleiades. I think he was from another planet, another dimension, so to speak. And that's not going to be too popular either, but I don't care.
No, it's okay. Hey, man. I mean, when I think of heaven, though, the way that I think about it is another dimension. Because because it's your energy,
exactly,
right?
Yes.
When you die, we go to whatever that place is. So I think that you're correct in saying that. I mean, it's just how everybody looks at everything differently. There's all different points of view, and that's fine. I mean, okay, so Yvonne, what do you think? What's your feeling about that?
So mine is very much along the same lines as Delphine. Like, I truly believe that each and every one of us come in with multiple angel guides and guardian angels. They're of a higher frequency, they are from definitely, I believe, different dimensions. There was one point, like when I walked away from the church, I was like a born again Christian. And when I walked away from that and the whole like religion aspect of it, I did I even walked away from like angels and stuff, because to me, like growing up Catholic and then being part of the Christian church, it was like they do like bring that in as like a religious part of it, right? And then it wasn't actually until I took my Reiki training and then took additional training from Melanie Beckler, who does angel healing. And also when I went into my Akashic records and found out what archangels I had with me, like coming in. Right. And it was just this whole like aha moment and remembering of like, angels aren't religious, and they're with you no matter what. So whether you are connected to them and aware of them, they're still with you. And that's why we have to call upon them. Like they're not going to intervene I mean, I do feel like at times they probably intervene in our, like, if that wasn't part of our life path and maybe we were like swaying off of it, but I don't feel that any being really intervenes in our life without asking them. Like that has to be called upon. And I totally agree with Delphine. Like Yeshua also was from the Pleiades, and all the ascended masters are from other dimensions and other places, as are, if you go into our origins, where we're humans actually from, our DNA is some of the most like advanced DNA, because we are from so many different extraterrestrial, like all combined together, right? So yeah, it makes sense why angels are with us. They are here to protect us, is my belief.
Yeah. And I do think, I mean, it's incredible because we do have, when you say guardian angels, I mean, those are the people that are like overseeing us. And I believe they're part of our soul tribe. I mean, we have, before we even came down here, obviously there's a soul family, right? And I truly believe that there's times in your life where you're like, I need some help here. Like I've done that. I do that all the time. What's going on? I need help here. I'm lost, or whatever it is, and I always get help. It is amazing. I'll give you guys one really, really good example. Just recently, okay, I feel, and this is about my niece Taylor. She almost was in a car accident, or she would have been killed, basically, I guess I should say. And it's all about the timing and whatever. And I believe that when you are protected by your guardian angels, that they either slow down time, or they ensure that they protect that person. because 2 minutes prior to her getting hit in the rear, she was at the rear of her car. So somebody say, I mean, I truly believe that she was definitely saved. She was definitely protected. And about 10 years ago, she was in another car accident, and amazingly, like, she should have been really injured. She was fine. Like, it's almost like they put a protective arm around you to shield you from stuff. There's another time, I'll just say briefly, when you know, my family, we were traveling from Florida to Washington State, moving, and we got stuck in this really bad part of I think we were in Atlanta, Georgia. It was just a very, very bad area, like lots of gangs and stuff. And there was a guy, we ended up calling him Mr. Franklin. Old black guy, just amazing. He stood there because we had all of our belongings. We had my mom's car, my dad was towing his car, and then the big U-Haul truck, the biggest one. So and there were 6, you know, the kids were young back then. And I'm telling you, this guy, guardian angel, man, he stood there with a wrench and like made sure we were protected. And then he guided us. He literally had us follow him out to get back to the, I mean, that's a guardian angel in my opinion. So there's been many other instances that I can talk about, but I think too, you have to sort of be willing to, I think, ask for protection, but also ask for, you know, help when you're stuck, you know, and it has happened. I mean, I'll tell you this real quick. There was another time when it had snowed, like, this is when I lived in Seattle. I lived about 20 minutes north of downtown Seattle in a little apartment building. And it had snowed about a foot of snow. And I was trying to get into the garage, park in the garage. And I literally got stuck in this big snowbank. And I'm like, what am I going to do? There's no way. And there was nobody around, let me tell you. There was nobody. Everybody was in, you know, because they had sent everybody home and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, this guy appears out, and I swear to God, I look up, this guy's in the middle of the road, okay, walking towards me with a shovel. And he dug me out. And then I said, well, thank you so much. I'm going to go around the block. I'll be right back. By the time I got back, and he was just disappeared out. I don't know where he went, never saw him again. And that to me was an angel, you know, that, I just got chills, you know, that was like, okay, I'm going to help you. It was just an incredible. And then I was like, where did he go? There's no way I wouldn't have seen him go somewhere, you know, it was just crazy. So I think the main message here is, you know, you have to really just, I think, pay attention. And it's not necessarily that you have to believe in angels, but if you ask for help, universe sends help. And that's sort of where I'm at with everything. What about you, Delphine? You want to have any stories, or what are your thoughts on all of that?
I agree with everything you both said. But I also believe, obviously, they intervene when you need help without asking. I believe that they're there to protect you. Yeah. Absolutely. And they will intervene if it's not your time and to protect you. Chrissy, I can't believe you didn't tell the best story about the stairs.
Oh,
that was definitely an angel that helped you. I have a little story, but I want you to tell the story about the stairs.
Oh my gosh, I get chills every time I even. Okay, so last year, my family and we went to Georgia for a family reunion. And the last night we were there, I was staying with actually my cousin's sister, because there was like, you know, I don't know, 15 of us, you know, so my room was at the top of the stairs, kind of like diagonally. So top of the stairs, my room was over to the right. And then to the left a little bit was the bathroom. Or I'm sorry, no, my room was across the hall, like here on the same side. Okay. And then my cousin's room was to the right at the top of the stairs in the bathroom. And I went to use the bathroom, and I don't even know why the heck I wouldn't have kept the light on, so I knew where I was going. But I was trying to diagonally cross to the bedroom. And I did. I crossed, and then I'm like, I went to take a step, and I'm like, where's the floor? I'm like, oh shit. I said, I'm gonna fall down the stairs. I'm like, I'm going to break my neck. Like, this is what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, I don't know what to, I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. We're supposed to leave tomorrow. What's going to happen if I get really hurt or I die? Or, like there were all these things going in my head. And all these things. And I'm talking, this has to be a good 30, 45 seconds. I'm thinking in my head, my consciousness, but I'm not feeling anything physically. Was not feeling anything physically. And I'm like, where's the floor? And I tried to use my toe. I was pointing it down. I'm like, where is it? And then I'm like, well, when am I going to hit the stairs? And the weird thing is this, I'm at the top of the stairs. So you're face forward, right? I should have tumbled down face forward and probably broken my neck or something broken. I came down, all of a sudden, I said, in my head, I'm like, when am I going to hit the stairs? About 2-3 seconds later, boom, I hit the middle of the staircase, but I'm upright on my butt.
Oh.
Okay. How did I get in that position? I do not know. And then I hit this, and then I did roll on my side down to the bottom of the stairs. And it was so crazy. I'm like, oh my God, did that just happen? You're sitting there and I'm like, is anything injured? Am I, and I'm like, my cousin, which is very interesting, what he heard, because they were at the top of the stairs in their bedroom. All they said they heard was like a crash, which was interesting. They heard a crashing noise. They did hear me yell, which I don't remember yelling. I don't remember screaming. I don't remember that. It was crazy. And I honestly believe, because I was in like a void, and I feel like I was either somebody grabbed me is how I picture it in my head. I just got chills. So I'm thinking that's probably right. Somebody sort of grabbed me, and I think they were trying to figure out what is the best way to help her so she doesn't injure her back. Because I've had 3 back surgeries. I've had so many issues. And then they put me down, and it was the craziest experience I've ever had in my life. I still to this day cannot figure it out, other than it was a miracle. And my guardian angel, somebody saved me for sure on those stairs. Because I should have, I thought you'd think that I didn't even break a finger, nothing. I mean, I had a very, very, very bad bruise on my butt for it took about 8 months for that to heal. But I'll take that over over anything else. It was just crazy.
Wow.
So it's been a very interesting awakening in that sense. I always knew that there's people watching over me, because I've almost been in accidents, whatever. I mean, just even another thing happened. Big old truck was making a right turn on an inside lane, and split second, a corner of my eye, I saw it, and I slammed on the brake, and by the grace of God, there was nobody behind me, or else somebody would have slammed into me. I mean, things like that. It's crazy. So, but Yvonne, what are your any kind of experiences, or what do you think about all of that?
Well, I want to hear Delphine's first.
Okay.
Oh, I don't have anything as great as that. I just wanted you to talk about that, Chrissy, because that was amazing. I've had a few things. One just recently, and I was riding my bike, and I had my headphones on, and usually I put one headphone on and one in, and I'm listening to my YouTube, and I'm riding my bike, and then all of a sudden, this car is, I'm usually really good, but it always happens when you're not paying attention, right? Split second. So I'm riding, and then all of a sudden this car pulls out and starts to back up, and it's about to hit me. All right, it's about to hit me. And all of a sudden, I did this maneuver on my bike. It wasn't me. I turned. I turned this way and turned this way. I went, and it was like I didn't maneuver the bike, and I should have fallen off the bike. And I was like, oh, and I just went, thank you.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. You know what I mean? It's like they maneuvered the bike I can't explain it. It was like I didn't maneuver the bike, but I maneuvered the bike, and the maneuver should have like, at the very least, I should have tipped over or fallen.
Yeah.
And then the person just kind of like, they're like, "Whoa," they didn't even see me, and I just kept on going. And usually I'd be like, did you see me? But I was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't usually do the sign of the cross. I'm like, thank you, so God, thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Oh
Then
my.
there was another time when I was little in
Mm-hmm.
my mother's arms. We were in Florida and we were in the ocean. And I just remember I was in my mom's, I don't know, I was really, really little, and this huge wave came, and I think like we got caught in this like little riptide thing, and I was under the water. And I just remember being little and like I couldn't get up. And I just remember something lifting me up.
Wow.
And then my mom was right there, and then she
Wow.
grabbed me.
Wow.
But it was just like a little.
Yeah.
So those were the two, and I never saw anything. Never
You-
saw anything.
Yeah.
But I just think that they are around. I don't think that they can intervene when it's your time. And I do think that we all kind of have different, they say, points and when you sign up to leave this world, whether or not you've done what you can. So I do think that they can intervene, but I don't think they can intervene when it is your time.
Interesting. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think we all have a date for sure. We all
Mhm.
decide what the date is. So, Yvonne, what say you?
Yeah, so like off the top of my head, I can't think of anything specific for me, but I have a friend whose nephew, like very similar, how when he was younger, he was riding his bike across the road, and it was a truck that didn't see him. And like back in the day too, kids didn't wear like helmets or
Yeah.
anything at all. So he got hit by a truck, but he remembers, like, he said it was like when he tells the story, he's like, it's like everything just stopped because he just like remembers like what happened.
Yeah.
And like you said, like he was thinking things in his head.
Mm-hmm.
And then the way that he landed, I think he said the only thing was like his glasses like got broken. But
Wow.
I mean, getting hit by a truck, right? Like when you're on a bike
Yeah.
should have been serious. And he had
Total.
no broken bones, like no nothing. And like when he was telling me the story, I was like, oh my gosh, like your angel guide must have like stopped time. And he just like instantly was like, it just resonated for, he was like, that was it.
Right.
I've always tried to figure out what that was. And for me, it was just like, yeah, like totally that was,
Yeah.
and I just
definitely.
like, I call upon my angels daily, especially now that we're living out of town, like anytime we're driving into the city, it's just, it's become like something that I just incorporate into my day, call upon my angel guides, wrap us in pure white light, the armor of God, just ask them to protect you, right? And I mean, like you said, Delphine, when it's your time, it's your time. They're not gonna, I also don't believe that they can stop it when it's your time, but I do believe that they have the power to intervene when it's not your time, and things, happen around you. So
Yeah.
they're super powerful. Like the more and more that I work with them, like I call upon my divine angel energy healing team when I'm doing intuitive sessions, and it's like the moment I call upon them, it's just like I can feel their presence and just like feel this different type of energy come in. And the archangels as well, they all have a different type of like energy feel to them. And kids are so connected, like they can see angels so much easier than we can, because they're still so connected to the other side. So I remember my girls being babies, and they would be looking up, I'd be nursing them or something, and they're just like looking up, or they're sitting down and they're just like they're looking at something, and they're totally having this like interaction with them. And I always just knew that it had to be, angels. And my son Makayo, he talks about seeing different archangels. He'll see like the colors of them, and so they're definitely all around us. We just, as we get older, right, all of this starts falling away from us, and we don't believe as much, and we get programmed. And
it's the programming that kills us. I mean, the whole idea is like, how would you describe how to keep to learn to connect to the your angels and your guardian angels and your guides and stuff, what do you guys feel is not the easiest way, but do you think that it's just a matter of believing, or do you think that, you know, how would you, if somebody says, so like if somebody's watching this video and going, you know, hey, well, I want to connect to my angels and my guardian angels, how would you do, what are your thoughts on how to teach them to do that? I mean, is there anything specific, or is it just the belief that they're there? Because, you know, it's always I also think, you know, you talk about magic. I mean, we're magic within ourselves, right? We have magic within ourselves. So our connection is so important to the spiritual and also in guiding us. And what do you know, what would you say to somebody that's like, well, I really want to connect to the angels? Yvonne, you want to take that first?
Yeah, that's such a great question. And I feel it's very similar to when people talk about like, how do I pray? And I'm on the belief of like, everybody does it differently. I don't personally believe that there's a right way or a wrong way. We're all different in how we do things. And I truly believe like whatever comes, like what seems most natural to you. Like I will talk to Source, Creator, the Divine Holy Mother, you know, all my angel guides, whoever it is, you know, is it Mary Magdalene, Yeshua? Like I talk to them just like I would talk to anybody else.
Yeah.
I know, Delphine, you're the same, right? Like if I'll swear sometimes, or I'll be like, whatever I am, that's how I speak to them, right? So I think it's just like, the more you do it, you know, and just start somewhere, you know, even if you're like, I don't know what I'm doing, but like, you know, just like, sometimes I know people will ask to like, show me a sign. And even with showing the signs, it can be the littlest thing, right? Like, it could be in numbers, and that's where, like, you know, synchronicities is a place where all your different guides are speaking to you. And it's the more aware you are, I believe, you know, so the more that you acknowledge those things, you know, you found a feather, like feathers are very connected to angels. Acknowledge those things when you see those angel numbers, or, you know, like you said with that man, like helping you out of nowhere, you know, even acknowledging like, wow, that like that was a guardian angel, you know, the fact that Delphine was like, thank you. Yeah. Like, you know, that is you acknowledging that, right? And that just grows your connection more and more. So I feel like just start whatever feels natural to you. Even if it feels really awkward to just be like talking to thin air or whatever, you know, it's just starting it, right? Like, and just, like, even if you don't truly believe, because some people may not truly believe, right, until they actually have something tangible happen to them. But I truly believe that we all have angel guides and guardian angels. So whether you believe it or not, they're there.
Yeah, I agree. What about you, Delphine?
I agree with what Yvonne said. Absolutely. It's you can't have a relationship with anyone you don't know. So you have to get to learn, have to get to know them. And that's the only way to get to know them, is talk to them. Just talk to them. Aspiring alchemist Carrie always says that there's so many unemployed angels that want to help us. They need to be asked. So just talking to them, just like you said, Gypsy Mama. Hi, I'm Delphine. Who are you? Show yourself to me. Do I have any angels? Please make yourself known. Or who are you? Or pray. I pray that I give you permission to intervene in my life, because I do believe there's angels. There she is.
We lost Tanya. Uh-oh.
She's back though.
Yeah.
Oh, there. She's coming back on. Hold on. That's hilarious.
Is she back on now?
Let me see. I tried to add her to the stage. Is she coming back?
I see her.
Oh, okay.
Yep, she's here.
Hi.
There she is. She went to the other dimension and back.
I know. It's like she was ripped out to 5D and then decided to come back.
That was so weird.
It is. Well, the angels like it. They're playing games with us.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Well,
just shows
there's
you,
the
right?
sign right
Like
there.
that shows
They
you,
do
like
do
just
that.
right when, yeah, they like to have fun too. So of course.
They do. They do.
That,
I
Um,
think for anybody who doesn't believe, like Delphine literally called upon her angels, show me a sign, and it was like, boop.
yeah, exactly. Exactly. They did. I forgot that. That's right. I did say, show me a sign.
you
And they're like,
did.
okay, literally, bing.
Here you go.
I
Oh,
love
that's
it.
just
See, and I
amazing.
didn't even acknowledge it. Here we are just thinking it's a glitch. See?
Yeah. See, it's
You're
all
right, Gypsy Mama. That way they like to have fun. They
Oh,
have a sense of
totally.
humor.
yeah.
Yep. And they don't care if you swear. Let's put it this way. They don't care if you swear. If God cared that anyone swore, I would have been smited and dead a long time ago.
I
Okay.
know, right? Me too. I know. Oh my god. Yeah, I mean, and this is the other thing about that. Talking briefly about 3D. I mean, the Matrix that we're in, we're taught that all these swear words. You know what's so funny is the other day I was even thinking like, who says these are swear words? You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like how did that even come about? It's like so cabal, whatever it is,
Totally.
whatever they did,
Yep.
it's programming. Like, they programmed us to think that those are horrible, but I just think it's
Yeah.
expression of
Yeah.
feeling,
Yep.
expression of emotion, and it really just, I think for me, it also lets us release a lot. I mean,
Oh,
when I
yeah.
get going, I mean, Delphine, when we go, I mean, the Italian Irish in us is just like, you don't want to cross us because we're going to be like F-bombing you left and right. I mean, I'm just saying. It's like,
Well, and it's
I'm much
funny,
better in those out.
yeah.
yeah, like I've had that conversation with my kids too, to be like, who says that this word, we give it that meaning, right? So we give it that
Mhm.
energy and that, like, this is bad, don't say that. And it's like, well, why? Like, who was it that said that this word here is bad and this
Yeah.
word here is, and it's like, yeah, in different cultures, like, even you just saying that, like my partner, he's Irish as well. So when he's
Mhm.
on the phone with his mom, who's still in Ireland, it's hilarious because like every other word is the F bomb.
Yeah.
And like to them, that's just normal, right? Or they say
Yep.
different
Right.
words, and here it holds this like meaning, and it's like, why do we give things such strong meaning,
Mhm.
right? And it totally is just an expression.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
it is. It's hilarious the way that it works. I wanted to go into. I need you to explain. Okay, so Yvonne, why don't we go there? Why is your name Yvonne now, Gypsy Mama Yvonne? Let's go there, and then we'll go into it's Illawisca, right? Is that how you
Oh,
say it?
ayahuasca.
Say it again.
Ayahuasca.
Ayahuasca. Okay, so why don't we go there? Let's talk about why Yvonne.
Yeah, well, it came after my partner and I went on a 4-day ayahuasca ceremony. I think it was only about a week and a half after that I was in a meditation. I've been diving like really deep into remembering my life in the Rose priestesshood, with Mary Magdalene, Mother
Mhm.
Mary. Yeshua was all a part of that, Isis, Hathor. So I've just been really diving deeper into that, even before ayahuasca. And there's been a few women online who have some fantastic, they've got Rose Temple schoolings and stuff that I haven't taken that yet, but just, some of their smaller courses are free ones that they have online. And it was Melissa, this one amazing woman who had this 7-day free kind of session that she offered. And I was on the last day. And as far from what I can remember, the last day was remembering who you are.
Mhm.
And so I went through that, and she ends in a meditation, and I was in the meditation, and like in this like silent part, I just heard a voice very clearly, and it was like, Yvonne, your name is Yvonne. And I just had like full body chills, and that's my middle name. And it was just, whether it was Mary Magdalene herself, like that's who she works very closely with. It was
Mhm.
definitely a divine feminine that I heard, like the very, very
Yeah.
strong. And it was just instant. Like from there, I was like, I like told my partner, I'm like, I'm going by Yvonne.
Yeah,
And like
that's
Tanya
amazing.
for me, like people because of the spelling of it, so they've
Hmm.
always like I've always had people pronounce it wrong. So
Hmm.
it's like my whole life I've always had to be like, no, it's Tanya, not Tanya. Da da da. And, you know, and it's just something that like I've played around with like changing the spelling of it, but that just never totally resonated with me.
Hmm.
And this was like it was instant. It was just like when I heard that, I was like,
Wow,
yeah, that's
that's
and I'm
amazing.
yeah,
Very cool.
well
Well,
that's really good.
and then explain your experience that you had um with deeper, like you're talking about, kind of going within and remembering, because what's been happening with me over the last couple of weeks, I would say, is that I am very much the type of person where out of sight, out of mind, in the sense of like location. So like I grew up, well, when I was little, we lived in Florida. Then technically I grew up from the time I was like 11 until 18 in Utah. And I hated Utah. Hate it. I mean, I had no intentions of going back. I mean, the only reason I went back was a few years ago, is because Taylor got married. My niece is there, and it just puts a bad taste in my mouth. That whole area is very oppressive feeling. The energy is not good there. But lately, I've been remembering things. Like when I was there, I started remembering some stuff. And then it's like you're out, I'm done. I'm over it, whatever, and I'm in this moment now. But the last couple of weeks I've been remembering things from like my childhood, and my memory sucks, okay? Like I do not remember. It's so strange. I do not remember, like, honestly, the furthest that I can remember back is like maybe at the age of 5, which I don't know. Like I don't remember a lot prior to that. Bits and pieces. I know when I was 4, I had my tonsils out, and I do remember bits and pieces of the hospital. I mean, the hospital got a bomb threat. And we were out in this is in Florida, mind you, Boca Raton, Florida, when we were, and so 4 years old, they had to evacuate the whole hospital. And we were sitting out there, and it happened to be cold, which was crazy for Florida that time. And anyway, and I do remember that. And I remember bits and pieces, but pretty much my memory has just, anything prior to that. And then even like in Utah growing up, like I try to think back and I don't remember a lot, but now, just in the last couple of weeks, lots of memories have been coming back to me. And I think a lot of it is because of the time shift, the timeline shift that happened. I really think that people are now sort of analyzing my past and trying to figure out, okay, what happened, where am I from? But prior to that, I don't have any memories, or I haven't had any, like, I dream a lot, and I dream more about, it's really weird. It's almost like, yeah, I'm on a different plane, a different timeline, and things play out. So like I'll go back to sleep and pick up the next night where I left off in wherever I was, but I'm not really learning who I was prior to. Do you have any suggestions as to how we can tap into that? Like, what are some of the methods that you're using to try and pull that out of your soul, in other words, to remember? What are some of the things that you've been doing? You want to go first, Yvonne, or?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and one that I'm still trying to figure out because I
Yeah.
feel like some things just come to me too, and I don't even know how I accessed
Mm-hmm.
it. And I do feel a lot of it is like when we're ready for it, right? Like
Yeah.
I feel like no matter what you do, you may not be able to access something until you are truly ready for that, until you've let go of what needs to be let go of. Um, I've had people go up into my Akashic records, which was one. But For me, a lot of the like, I mean, I try to like on a daily basis as part of my I am statements is like that's one of the ones
Mhm.
I do is I am remembering who I am. I have it written on our because I write things on our water jugs. So like
Mhm.
you know, we are remembering who we are. So like really putting that out, like you want to remember and like why am
Mhm.
I here? But certain things for me, it's that that resonance. Like when I feel that without a doubt, I don't know why something that I'm hearing just it's like I just know that that's truth, or at least that's my truth, and that's how it's been with like the Rose lineage and the priestesshood.
Mhm.
And there's just been things that it's like without any question, I just know. And then, you
Yeah.
know, I'll have readings from different people, and certain things will come up of like, you know, being in the Isis priestesshood, or, you know, all these different things that
Mhm.
it's like, I knew that. And I don't know how I knew that. It's just like, I knew it though. Or different things that I always questioned, you know, as a kid being like, well, why that? Or, you know, and then something, you know, I hear something and it's like, that's what I believe, you know, and that, I mean, what I
Yeah.
believe may not be what somebody else believes, you know, which is totally fine. Um, but I don't know, like I don't have any personally like specific ways that I can like just go and access something. I too
Mhm.
have had like dreams of different timelines that I'm like I knew like waking up is like, oh, I know that was a past life.
Yeah.
Or, you know, I've, you know, been in a bath and had a, you know, I've been able to see like different timelines of times where it's like, whoa, that was definitely about, and I don't even
Yeah.
know like what to, you know, trying to get back to that, being like, how can I recreate this again? It's just not, for me
Right.
at least I can. I think some people can, especially those who can access their Akashic records. And
Mhm.
but even then, I feel like in order for certain things to be unlocked, like you need to be ready for that. There's
Yeah.
so much work for us to do, and you know, for the going inward and just really being silent. Like I think that's a big part of it, and just truly listening to like your intuition, connecting with your higher self and what feels right. Like you can feel that like in your heart, just like the same way when you feel when your intuition is telling you something is not right. It's that
Mhm.
same thing, right? It's like, okay, no, I'm getting a bad feeling for a reason. And the same
Right.
way you'll get this feeling of just like, yes. So
Mhm.
that's, I don't know if
Yeah.
that really answers your question because I
Yeah,
don't
no,
have any
no,
specific.
I agree with you what you said. I think that's perfect. Delphine, what say you?
Well, I do believe that we get little glimpses, what Yvonne was just saying. I know that sometimes during meditation, all of a sudden I'll see faces of people and I don't know who they are. Does that ever happen to you two ladies? You
Totally.
see
Yes,
people and you're
yes.
like, why am I seeing this person I don't know?
Right,
I just
right.
think that they're probably maybe fragments from your past lives
Mhm.
or like relatives from your past lives that you don't remember, but they're your guides and they're just showing
Right.
themselves to you. So I
Yeah.
do think we get little bits and pieces during meditation or there's something about being in water. I think water is just really connects you with the other side. I think it's the number one way to connect. There's something about water. That's the whole thing with the baptism, right?
Yeah.
Water
Mhm.
really,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
too
it holds
have
memory.
had some really profound, what's that, honey?
Sorry, I was just saying
What did
like
I
it holds
say?
memory, and the memory
Yes,
of, you
yes.
know, like, water is
Mhm.
the thing that's been around since the beginning of time, so it holds all that memory.
Yep.
That's a great way to put it. That's true. That's a great way to put it. There is a technique that, Dolores Cannon, the
Oh,
reason
I
why she
love.
got all those insights is because she was doing hypnosis, right? And
Mhm.
she started just doing hypnosis because, people to quit smoking and to lose weight. But she got into it is because she found that during hypnosis, people were remembering their past lives. So she has a special technique and I wanted to do it a couple of years ago back in 2020, when I first learned about Dolores Cannon, but it was
Mhm.
like $1,500 and I couldn't
Yeah.
afford it at the time. But it's called QHHT and it's quantum healing hypnosis technique. And
Ah.
and there are people you can take her daughter, I forget her daughter's name. Her daughter is still running her website and still is running the business and she teaches it. So you can do stuff like that. You can do past life regression and it does work,
Yeah.
and you could do something like the past healing hypnosis technique, something like that. But I do think that we get fragments of it in our dreams and when we meditate.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I think it's more of a feeling than actually seeing images. I've never really hit my Akashic records. I think that would be interesting. That's
Yeah.
another thing. And I know that Sarah teaches that. And there's a lot of different people that teach, the Akashic records. But I think too, can't we just ask? I think we could just ask to get fragments and to start to remember. I just think that the veil is so, let's face it, the veil's non-existent now.
Yeah.
We're in that highest stage of 4D, right about to get to 5D. So I just think if we really want to ask, I think it will be revealed. However, I do think we have to go by the caveat that I don't think we should remember past lives that aren't going to help us, that are going to keep us
Right.
stuck in those past lives that are, we only should probably learn the past lives or learn about our past selves that if it's going to help us heal and take us to the next step
Mm-hmm.
or to resolve something. But I do think that sometimes people get stuck in their past lives and, I was Joan of Arc. It's like, come on, guys. All right.
Right. Right.
Or because I do think like I don't think that there's a lot of fragments of Mary Magdalene on the earth because she's not on the earth, so she gives soul fragments of her family. And I do feel a very big connection to Mary Magdalene and Yeshua, and I probably did walk with them.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that so when I do think it's so funny because there's a lot of people that think that they're Mary Magdalene or that whatever. So I think that we are part of her. I think that she puts little fragments of her soul, and then when we incarnate, she's not clear, so to speak, because she's not that being anymore. She passed on, but that essence of her lives on with us.
Right.
So I do think that there are fragments of our past self still with us. Do you agree, Yvonne?
I totally agree with that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a weird concept, but
No,
No,
I totally agree with
I
that.
agree with that. Yeah.
And
I mean,
HHT is something I've wanted to do for so long. I think it would be amazing to have a session done. I know a few people that have had them, and yeah.
did they have some experiences? Because I think you get all kinds of psychic experiences.
Yeah, from what I've heard from people, they've all been profound. Like,
Wow.
yeah. And I agree with you. There are some people that I feel like it's very easy to get stuck in your past lives and
Mm-hmm.
just so focused on that, like what was I in a past life, that you forget like, well, no, there's this life that I'm here now. Like there are parts of our past lives that can help us, but we have to always come back to like, this is the life that I'm here right now. So like
Mm-hmm.
be here, be now, having this human experience, whether you were this, that, and the other thing. Maybe you were an ascended master, and but right now this is who you are. So
Right.
you have to really come back to the now.
Yeah. It's about, living in the moment. You know what I mean? Like being present now. I mean, I do think that like phobias and stuff have to do with something that happened in the past. And I am deathly afraid of sharks. I mean, I've never even, I can't look at a picture. When Jaws came out, because I was little when it came out, I mean, I was young, maybe, I think I was 5 or 6, something around there, 6, 7. I remember just being terrified seeing all the pictures, the poster pictures and all that. And to this, I mean, like I'm talking about it right now, I have this anxiety bubbling up. I mean, that's how freaked out. I mean, like nervousness, I have this anxiety. And anytime anything is like under the water, I'll tell you, this is so interesting. The Titanic, that movie, the Titanic, the movie, in that first scene where they go underneath the water and you can see the Titanic, and everything. I went and saw that in the movie theater, and I had such anxiety about that. I was like, I didn't like it. I felt like, oh my God. And I'm thinking, well, maybe I was on the Titanic and died. That maybe a shark got me. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I do feel that that past lives do manifest within your present life in certain things, you know, and I think that you know, phobias and other kind of things that you might be afraid of, or, you know, you don't want to do, or you're afraid to start, anything that you are afraid of, I think, or reluctant to either experience or, you know, deal with or whatever, I think could also be those remnants of that. And then in this life, you're supposed to sort of face it. But I'm sorry, I'll never forget this. This is a crazy story. We went to, I had a whole bunch of friends of mine when I first moved out here to Washington State. There was probably about 10 of us in this group. And we all wanted to, like, well, let's go to the Point Defiant Zoo, which is in Tacoma. And I was like, okay, cool, you know, whatever. And, you know, I didn't realize there was a freaking shark thing there, you know. So they were all going to go in. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to stay out here. Like, I couldn't even, like, there was, oh my God, just even talking about this is freaking me out. But there was like a big like statue of a shark in the front of the building, like so I went on the opposite side of where this was, so I didn't have to, and I was just going to sit there, and they're like, oh, come on, Chrissy, you're being ridiculous. I said, no, you don't understand. I am deathly afraid. I will have nightmares. I can't do this. I cannot go. Come on. They put me in the middle of the pack, okay, and they literally pushed me into this, oh God, it was so awful. Pushed me into this whole shark thing. I'm freaking out. I'm looking at the floor. And then we get to this area where there is like this huge, I am just freaking. Look, I'm shaking. I'm so freaked out. Okay, take a breath. There's this huge tank with the great white sharks in it. I mean, I'm like 2 feet. I mean, they're right there. I was just freaking. I am just like so shaky right now. Anyway, and so I'm like, I can't do this. I ran out the exit door because I can't go through the whole thing because there's shark pictures everywhere. There was no way I was going to even go through the whole thing. So I went out the exit. The alarm goes up. I was traumatized for so long after that. I mean, I had nightmares for like a week or two after that. I was just like, I couldn't even, like, I was in such a state of shock afterward. I mean, I didn't even talk the rest of the day. I mean, it was just the most traumatic thing I ever went through. And I mean, you think it's ridiculous. I mean, it's a fish, but just, I don't know what it is. But anyway, it was crazy when that happened. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm never doing this. I'm like, I can't believe you guys made me do this. I was so mad, you know. And anyway, it was hilarious. But I do think, getting back to the, you know, to like our past lives, I do feel that that's, you know, got to be something to that, whether it was, you know, on the Titanic, which I don't know, but whatever, there was something that, you know, I think that maybe universe was trying to get me to face it, maybe by having these people, my friends, get me to do that. But I just, you know, and then I have another friend that is a diver, and she does the whole shark cage stuff and all of that. And that freaked me out too. We lost Gypsy Mama again. So anyway, but here, we'll see if she comes back on. I don't know what happened.
That's so funny that you're so afraid of sharks now. I'm fascinated by sharks.
Oh,
I'm fascinated, but I'm obsessed, almost to the point where I was obsessed with them, because I grew up with Jaws, right? Grew up with Jaws because we were young when Jaws came out.
Yep.
And it was filmed in my state. It was filmed in Martha's Vineyard, which is in Massachusetts. I'm in Scituate.
Yep.
So, I hope Tanya, sorry, Yvonne, it's hard for me to not say Tanya. Yvonne comes back.
Yvonne, I know, I keep saying
Gypsy Mama. There she is. So how was this Gypsy Mama? Were there any sharks here?
The angels are messing with us again.
Yeah.
So it makes
Uh,
It's funny that you say that because I agree 100% when it comes to phobias. I've got a few phobias that I believe they are tied to past lives, and a shark is one. Even when I'm in a lake where I know there's no shark,
yeah,
like I love the water. So like I love being in baths and being in the water. I have such a connection to water. But if I'm in like open living water, there's just this
it,
fear that I have that it's like, and somebody actually told me one time she did like a mini reading on me, and she said that in a past life I was a little boy on a pirate ship, and there was
oh,
something where I was like peeking over and I saw like a guy being killed and pushed off. You know how they had those like planks
the
on
planks.
ships? And they
Yes.
pushed them off into like open water where sharks were. And I witnessed this as like a little boy watching the whole thing happen. And I was like, whoa, I
Um,
wonder if that's where my phobia comes from. This is
maybe.
weird. Like, yeah. So, yeah, hearing you say that, I was like, oh, I totally resonate. There's a
Well,
few that I'm like, I don't know
Delphine,
where this comes from.
Delphine's telling us that tell her she didn't hear what you just said, that you're fascinated by tell her.
Oh, you are?
well, I think I had encounters with sharks too in my past life because I'm obsessed with them. Okay, but I have a this is weird. I'm very intrigued by animals that can kill us. Okay, lions, alligators, sharks. Okay, so I live in Massachusetts and where Jaws was filmed, okay? Back when I was growing up, we never had great white sharks. Never had to worry about it. I swam in the ocean without problem. However, over the past 15 years, since seals have become, they put the seals on the protected list. So now we have an overabundance of seals. So now, more than ever, the Cape Cod is infested with great white sharks. We have
Oh my
more
God, I
sharks
would
now
die.
than on the Pacific coast, and then in California. We have so many sharks. So they tag them. So long story short, when they first started to witness great white sharks down the Cape Cod many years ago, I'm like, they're gonna come up. They're gonna come up where we are because I'm south of the I'm north. Like Cape Cod's here, and then I'm kind of going up towards Boston. And so I knew that eventually they were going to come up to our water. So of course, like I live along the ocean. I grew up in Hull, which is Nantasket Beach, and then I'm 2 towns over where I live now, still along the coast. And we have, so over the past like 5 or 6 years, actually about more like 10 years, there have been great white sharks in our waters from the Cape. Now the great white sharks go all the way up to like Maine, New Hampshire. They're all along the Atlantic. So the Atlantic coast is now infested with great whites. Okay. Long story short, there's a part of me that's obsessed with them and fascinated, but I'm terrified. Like I won't go swimming anymore now either. And when I was little, I would go swimming. But this summer, I've always wanted to see one. I always wanted to see a great white, not when I'm swimming, of course, but I always wanted to see one.
Right.
So, and I have like the Sharktivity thing. And so this past summer, my friend Lisa, who lives right next door, said, there's she's on the Facebook. She's like, someone just saw a great white shark down this beach.
Oh my God, I would
So
die.
I was like, that's it. I'm doing it. I got on my bike. I went down, I rode down to the beach because you can't park down there. And I watched for a half an hour a great white shark
Oh my God, I
go
would die.
after a seal. There was a seal and he was going after it. He was going after it and he's going after him like, holy shit, like, holy shit. And then I saw him attack the seal, which was nasty.
Oh,
And then all of a sudden I was like, but you know what was so weird? After then, I was like, calmed me. I don't know why it calmed me. So did I need to face my fear? Did I need to face it? Like, maybe, I don't think I was attacked by one, but maybe I was on a ship or something and there was great whites, or maybe I had an encounter with one and I don't know, but I'm terrified of sharks. I'm just like you girls.
yeah.
I am terrified. But yet I was fascinated. I had to see it. I had to see it. And it was I couldn't keep my eyes. It was terrifying. And then it was so funny because like people were going in the water. I'm like, don't. I'm like, hello, hello, and they're like, there's a fucking great white shark. Hello, see that fin?
God. I'd have been like, oh, are you crazy? I know that's
And I
insane.
tell people, I'm like, don't go in the water, don't go in the water, don't go in the water, don't go in the water. And there's a sign that says, the different things, like this is the great
Yeah.
white. I never thought I would have to worry about this where I am, but I do. I have to worry about it now. But
Oh my
so
God.
thinking that maybe facing the fear helped it, I don't know.
Maybe.
But I will tell you that I have a huge fear of heights. Huge fear of heights, yet I love roller coasters. So I'm fucked up.
Oh my gosh. I would say I don't like to be high. I will do it. I conquered the Capistrano suspension bridge in Vancouver. That was an interesting thing. This is years ago. Me and my friends drove up from Seattle to Vancouver, and we ended up there. And I mean, it's 200 feet below. I mean, it's very, very high. And I was scared. I will admit it. I was nervous. But once I did it, I was like, I mean, I felt like, okay, I conquered it. You know what I mean? And I went through it anyway, even though I don't like heights that much, but I have to sort of have the mindset of like, okay, I'm going to do this, kind of a thing. And I did it. And then when, oh my gosh, after graduation from high school in 1987, went with a bunch of my friends. We went to Mazatlan, Mexico. Okay. And they had us booked on a parasailing thing where you could go parasailing. And so what it was is they did it from a boat. So the boat was sort of like in the water, and they harness you in, and then the boat goes and you go up. I was the last one to go. I wasn't going to go because that kind of freaked me out because, you don't know. We're in Mexico, first of all. You just don't know what the safety thing is or whatever. But all my friends did it. Come on, Chrissy, just do it. Just do it. I'm like, oh, okay. So I did it. And I'm telling you, I would do it again. It was an incredible feeling. And the one thing that I remember, I was up there, even to this day, I remember the feeling of just weightlessness, number one. And number two, the silence. I was way up over the coastline, and it was just an incredible. I could see the whole coastline from where I was, and it was just a very peaceful, quiet feeling up there, and I never forgot that. And I'm like, well, I guess if I ever had the chance, I would maybe do it again because of the way it made you feel. But I was just happy that I did it. So I kind of conquered my fear there. And I think that, sometimes you just have to jump in with 2 feet and just do it. But I will never go into a shark cage. I am so sorry to tell you that. Never doing a Shark Tank. I will never go to the zoo again, to that zoo thing again. That's for sure. But so, okay, so we can wrap it up. We've been talking for almost an hour, I think, right about now. So going back to our original, which was angels and miracle things that we've seen, how would you sum up for the Soul Tribe? How would you guys sum it up? So we'll start with Delphine. How would you sum up the show and what we've been discussing?
I think that we all have angels around us and we just don't see them. We probably can sense them. I think that they've helped us more than we even will know. I think that we have the ability to connect with them more now, more than ever. I do believe that if we ask for help, they'll be there for us. I do think that we have more or less angels in our life, depending upon the circumstances.
Yeah, for sure.
And just like Gypsy Mama said, just talk to them. Talk to them. There's no right or wrong way. Just like we pray, there's no right or wrong way to pray. Just talk to them. Ask them to make themselves known. Maybe even ask their names, and whatever name comes to your mind. we have to remember that our intuition is very connected to our imagination. And a lot of times we kind of brush things off as our imagination, but it's not our imagination.
Mhm.
So the first thing that comes, even if it's the weirdest, most craziest name, write it down, because angels are not going to have, names like Fred or Amy.
Bob.
They're most likely they're going to have weird names. Some, they might have, names like human names, but I think more times than not they have really strange names,
Mhm.
like our guides, right?
Yeah.
Um, and I do think that they're watching us. And one thing I do get from angels is that they think that we're kick-ass. They
That's
do.
awesome.
They think that we're kick-ass. They do. I think they really admire the fact that we lowered our frequency to be here now in this time and space. So we go, oh, angels, right? But
Yeah.
they go, you. I felt the presence of an angel. I get all excited and I go, and my angel's funny. I don't know names or anything, but they always go. I just in my mind, I picture them going, like
Yeah.
they get as excited as you acknowledging them
Mhm.
as us acknowledge, like as us. I don't know. They get as excited as we do about acknowledging them and that we notice them,
Yeah.
and they think we're kick-ass. They really admire us.
Yeah. I think so too. What about you, Yvonne? What do you say?
Well, I mean, Delphine put that like so perfectly, I think.
Mhm.
I agree with everything that you said. Just continue to talk to them, like whether you feel like weird about it or, just also see what you're feeling. Like, what do you feel? Because they do have a I mean, everything has a frequency, right?
Mhm.
So you'll feel that, right? Like that's the biggest thing for me is I feel when I speak to my angel guides and guardian angels and when I call upon my divine angel energy healing team, it's like I feel their presence, right? And
Mhm.
there's times in meditations where it's just like you can just see all these, bright lights and it's like those are your angel guides, right? And
Yeah.
just more every day, make it part of your daily life, even if you're not like asking them for something. Be grateful for them, thank them for
Mhm.
always being there even in times that you didn't acknowledge them, just be grateful. Like that's the biggest thing, right? Being in gratitude. So
Yes.
if you don't have anything specific that day to ask for, which I mean we should be asking for daily protection anyways, that like the veil is so thin,
Yeah.
like are
Yeah.
non-existent, that because of that anything we're open to everything, right? So daily protection and clearing is so important.
Yeah.
So asking for that is a simple thing, that a way that we can connect with them and just feel that, like you can feel it, and
Mhm.
just be grateful for them, like even if you're ending your day, just being in gratitude for your day and all that you have and that they're there for you. And just
Yeah.
especially if you have kids in your life or around you, like if you've got friends that have little ones, or you know, listen to them when they talk about things, or watch them when they're seeing things, and just I think it's so important to not squash that, because I feel like so many of us in our generation, it probably was squashed just because of
Yeah.
religion and different bullshit that you know that had happened, whereas now there's so many more awake people,
Mhm.
and these star seeds are coming in to our lives, whether it's specifically our
Yep.
kids, our friends kids, or nieces, nephews, whatever. um, they're being planted in our lives so that we can be that person to help them, foster that, and be like, yeah, like, you are seeing an angel, or teaching them how to call upon them, right? Like when they're
Yeah.
saying that they see this, and it's like, oh, let's look up what archangel is blue, or what, and just, or yourself, right? Like if you're seeing
Mhm.
like blue lights or something around you, look it up. Or if you're seeing numbers all the time, look it up. Like
Yep.
just acknowledge it more. I think that's the biggest part, is just acknowledge it. Like I said, if there's
Yeah.
a feather that you find, if there's, you know, dimes, nickels, whatever it is, there's all different
Mhm.
ways that they connect with us. So acknowledging it and being grateful for them is huge, I think.
Definitely. Yeah, and I mean like I see signs all the time with animals. It's pretty funny. Actually there's been the other day a blue jay came right on my tree here on the side and I saw it and it looked right at me and then it flew off and I look it up and it's all of good luck, whatever. Or I'll see about 3 weeks ago I went to take the garbage out and there was this little ladybug just sitting there. And I'm like, oh, ladybugs are really good luck spiritually. They're sort of like little, you know, kind of bring luck and, kind of goodwill and whatever. And then, eagles, I see eagles and it's so funny too. I'll say out loud, what?
I think
You
you're
didn't say
getting
anything.
feedback.
Oh, okay. I said what I was gonna say was the Eagles. So like I'll be driving down to into town, and I'll be like, I haven't seen I'll say it out loud. I haven't seen my eagle buddies for a while, and then boom, I'll see an eagle flying up ahead. I mean, it's crazy, and if you pay attention, I also look at the sky a lot. And I was going to show you this picture, but I'll save it for another time. But it's these pictures I took of these. It was an angelic, I think, warfare type thing going on. I mean, it was crazy. I don't know. Should I bring it up? I'll do it next time. But it was insane to see what was going on in the sky. I mean, it looked like an angel. It was wisps. You know how the wisps. The angel clouds, right? And it was sort of a wisp, but it looked like almost like there was an angel. There was like wisps coming out of the angel's mouth. I mean, it was so crazy too. And then towards looked like almost like a dragon type beast or something. And it was so incredible. There was no other. It was blue skies everywhere. Okay. It was just that one patch that I happened to look up as I'm driving. It was crazy. Anyway, and I just think, we just have to just be aware. And I think that use your gut instinct. That's a huge thing in your intuition, like you were saying, Yvonne. I mean, it's a huge thing. If something feels, not right, if I feel something, I always call on the angels, especially lately, whenever I start feeling scared. About 2 weeks ago, the power was out here for over 12 hours, and it was in the middle of the night. And I live in the middle of nowhere where it's very, very dark, and I did not feel safe. I must have done, I don't know how many protection prayers that night just to get through it, because I just didn't feel safe. But that's the best thing we can do, and just be aware. And I think that start thinking differently a little bit. Start. Anyway, I forgot what my train of thought was. Sorry, guys. I do that a lot lately. I don't know, my mind goes blank. But anyway, but thank you so much for coming on the show. Yeah, ascension. I know. I'll be like, there was a point to this whole story, and now it just left me. Sorry.
Well, I do want to say before you go, Chrissy, that ladybugs are very much a sign of the Virgin Mary and Mary Magdalene.
Really? Very good. Ooh, I just got chills. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, because there was a famine. I forget. There was a famine somewhere, and they prayed to the Virgin Mary. And ladybugs, they eat all kinds of bad bugs because what happened, there was some kind of pestilence, and not a pestilence, I'm sorry, it's the wrong word. They had some kind of infestation with bugs a long time ago with a crop, and they prayed to the Virgin Mary, and the Virgin Mary sent a bunch of ladybugs, and these ladybugs, they eat a lot of the bugs that were killing the crops, and they saved it. Is that you heard the story, right?
I never heard that story. I love that. That is awesome.
Yeah. So whenever you see a ladybug, it's very much connected to both Marys, because both Marys were in-laws. Like Mother Mary was the mother-in-law of Mother Mary, and of Mary Magdalene, because Yeshua and Mary were twin flames.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, that's so cool. I know one quick story of another ladybug. So I was down at the beach. This was over the past summer, like June, July, something like that. And I was just walking up the beach and the tide started coming in, you know. So I started walking in and oh my gosh, I looked down and I mean, there's nothing but sand for miles. Right in front of me is this little teeny ladybug. And I'm like, you're going to get, because the water was coming, he would have died. So I put him on, got him to go on my finger, and then I walked up to where my car was. I put him on the hood, and it looked like one of his little wings was sort of like out of whack or whatever. So he was trying to fiddle around with it, and then he fell off the car onto his back. And so I got him back up, put him on the thing, and then he finally straightened it out, and he just flew away. And I said, "Okay, well, have a good life." That's what it was hilarious. I mean, of all people most people would just kept going, not even think about that. But I just was like, oh my gosh, this little guy is in this vast amount of, it's going to get killed. So anyway, just funny, I love ladybugs. They're my favorite, actually, little insect. But anyway, that's pretty cool. I like that story. I didn't know that they were connected to both Marys. That's amazing. Very, very cool.
Yep,
well,
they're a good bug.
What?
They're a good bug.
Yes, for sure. Well, all right. I guess that's it for us today. And Yvonne, you want to say how people can get a hold of you if they, because you have your YouTube channel and your Instagram, but is there any other, you have a website? I keep forgetting to ask you that every time do you have a website?
Yeah, it's all, if you go onto my YouTube, like Gypsy Mama 333, I've got all my links on there. So my website's on there. And
okay.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, great. And everybody knows Lady D. Why don't you plug yourself, Lady D?
You can find me at Soul Therapy with Lady D, and I have Soul Therapy with LadyD.com. And Yvonne, I want to have you on my channel. So I'll get in touch with you, but I definitely want to have you because there's still more I want to hear about your experience.
Yes.
And I think the tribe will absolutely love it.
Yes, for
I love
sure.
that.
Yes. And I mean, you look glowing. There's so much new. I have to catch up with you.
Sounds great. I'd love to.
All right. Well, that's it for us here at Real World Witness. We'll see you guys, I guess.
Did I lose everyone?
Huh?
We're still here.
What'd you say,
Did we lose
Delphine?
her? I think she maybe lost us.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you
Maybe
hear
it
me?
froze on her.
I don't know. All right. Well, we'll talk to you guys later. See you later. Bye, Soul Tribe.
Bye-bye.
All right. I don't know what happened, if it went or not.